Good morning. It's 7:30 in the morning and I have completed the collective report for this week. It's not a good one. And I'm going to try to get through it without crying. I dreaded doing this and I'm not looking forward to relaying it, but I think that you have every right to know what is possible. My name is Patty, and I am an astrologer, and this is the report for the week of October 12th through the 18th, 2024. And it is a report for the collective, not like yesterday's where I did mainly just how things could affect us individually. This one could affect governments, and most likely it's going to affect governments, nations, leaders of nations, or even corporations or businesses. I'm going to use the same asteroids, planets, aspects, and degrees that I used yesterday for the individual report. But this one, like I said, is on a collective basis. Therefore, I'm going to start with Pallas Athena, and Pallas Athena is squaring Saturn. Pallas Athena is at 11 degrees of Sagittarius, and the 11th degree is an Aquarius degree. Pallas Athena represents our own individual independent spirit, our intellect, and our ability to problem solve. But she also represents our passion to fight for what we want or believe in. The 11th degree of Sagittarius represents primitive instincts and keeping them under control versus being obsessed or becoming consumed by them. This degree can be related to becoming fixated on an obsession or an idea or a primal behavior, and becomes all too dominating in our psyche and the way we behave, and the beholder becomes the hunter. This energy brings fear to a situation that was created out of one's desire to dominate over a group for a sheer reason of wanting to rule others. Another source that I use to refer to the 11th degree is also referring to divorce, separation, explosions, a missile, or a bomb. It can include airplanes, airports, or electricity, and coming from a foreign body. It also refers to sudden interruptions or being torn apart. This is just the interpretation of Athena at 11 degrees of Sagittarius. That's just one interpretation. Now let's take a close look at the Saturn being squared by Athena at 13 degrees of Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. Aquarius is an air sign. And Sagittarius is a fire sign. So Pisces represents having the need to escape or retreat. It is about having a savior-like desire to save the world. When we have a planet like Saturn, which means structure, authority, boundaries, and restrictions, but it's in Pisces, this means not being able to differentiate boundaries and authorities. And the 13th degree of Pisces means one who sees himself as a chosen one, believing he has been given a sword of righteousness and is destined to rid the world of dogma. To be replaced by what he sees as incontrovertible truths, or what he sees as obvious truths. The problem with this is he is very delusional. and what he sees as spiritual righteousness. Let's look at the T-square with the Sun at 19 degrees of Libra, opposing Chiron at 21 degrees of Aries. Both of them are squaring Mars at 20 degrees of Cancer. I've talked about this yesterday. If you want better interpretations, go to the reading I did yesterday. The Sun represents a leader of a nation. It represents the ego and individualism and purpose. Libra represents unequal balance and injustice, poor judgment, and evening the score. The 19th degree of Libra means beware of hidden dangers. From under the cover of night lurks a masked robber waiting to and observing for the right time to strike. The 19th degree also refers to a political organization, a public figure, justice, trial, ceremonies, or receptions, as well as being well-mannered. What that has to do with, I'm just giving you the information. What that has to do with what may transpire, I'm thinking that it's talking about an unsuspected person. Somebody that we would never suspect could be this diabolical. The reason for giving this lengthy description is to give you a complete picture of the astrological energy playing out in the heavens right now. At the end, I will give you a complete interpretation that brings all of this into focus. Moving over to the Sun's opposition to Chiron. Now remember, Chiron is about our deepest wounds and our vulnerabilities, as well as past traumas, and transforming that pain or trauma into power, whether for good or for evil. Okay, and whether it's good or evil is actually determined by the aspects of the other planets and the signs, as well as the degrees. So, Chiron is at 21 degrees of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is the warrior planet. Plus, Pallas Athena is currently residing in that first house ruled by Mars and is the home of Aries, and Athena is the warrior goddess. This chart is ruled by, and so this entire chart that I'm reading right now is completely ruled by Mars. Therefore, it is ruled by aggression, anger, and war. Continuing on to the 21st degree of Aries. This means that this will... I'm sorry. Moving on to the 21st degree of Aries. The meaning of this is, and I quote, a boxer lowers his guard to bring his opponent off balance, then follows through with an unexpected uppercut. Put that in your picture. You got somebody standing over the corner like they're weakened and unable to fight anymore, and lures you into their vicinity, into their trust, and the next thing you know, they knock you out with an uppercut. So during this period, complacency can become devastating. Somewhere in the world, there will be some sort of an attack. To take this even deeper, the Sun and Chiron are both squaring Mars, and Mars is at 20 degrees of Cancer. The 20th degree is a Scorpio degree, and Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. But at one time, before Pluto was discovered in the 1800s, Scorpio was ruled by Mars, and Scorpio's purpose is to transform. Because Scorpio is the planet of rules and the underworld, secrets, and what lurks in the dark, and has a reputation for ruthlessness, it will use its power of destruction to gain power and authority over its enemies or its foes. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my interpretation of this. And this is just one day. This is the energy of one day. Now, like I said yesterday, it can play out over, by the time the energy actually hits Gaia or Earth, it can actually take several days to actually happen. That's why I don't have too many dates and times on this. Okay, my interpretation of this is of war. There is a strong likelihood of an unprovoked attack of an unexpected country that has very devastating consequences. It is derived from an individual who is dwelling on past situations where he was marginalized, ignored, or refuted as a leader and is taking revenge in the most heinous manner. This attack is completely about self-aggrandizement or to emphasize his or her own importance and power and authority over others. Now, if that's not enough to get you watching the news, if that's not enough to get you to watch the news, here's some more crappy astrological transits to make even the naysayers take notice. Remember, I just got up. I've only had one cup of coffee. I wanted to get this done because I have so much to do. So please forgive my reading and please forgive my gaps in my reading. On the 16th of October, a second T-square will form. This T-square will form with Black Moon Lilith at 12 degrees, opposing the moon at 14 degrees, and they are squaring Ceres at 14 degrees. For the love of God, let's just hope none of this energy actually comes to fruition. All right, because Ceres is also semi-squaring Venus at 28 degrees of Scorpio. This is just going to be heart-wrenching. I don't know what to say. I honestly, truly don't know what to say. I understand what all this means, and I'm trying to relay it to you in the most compassionate way that I possibly can. But when you got crazy people out there, and you got people that have an agenda of self-aggrandizement and primitive, primal urges, what can you do? Seriously. Okay. So let's start with Black Moon Lilith. At 12 degrees of Libra, Black Moon Lilith represents the hidden taboo aspects of a person's personality. Yippee yahoo. The 13th degree of Libra means not having the ability to truly grasp reality of what is happening or what has happened. So this means we're going to deal with somebody else's personality that is really kind of off their rocker. And we're not able to grasp the concept of what has just transpired. It's just beyond our scope of understanding, if you have a rational mind. Okay. The moon is at 14 degrees Aries, which is also 14 degrees is a Taurus degree, but it's in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And so what this means, and I'm reading this verbatim, from a crowd, one lone person ascends the roof of a building and rains terror and devastation on party goers below. You don't need any interpretation for that. Finally, Ceres is at 14 degrees of Capricorn, squaring both Black Moon Lilith and the moon. And Ceres is at 14 degrees of Capricorn. And this literally means navigating through the deluge of carnage to administer help, care, and nurturing. Like I said yesterday, don't go anywhere. I'm serious. I am so flipping serious. This is just going to be an awful, awful, awful week. I know that the last 2 weeks have been terrible. I know that they have been depressing, stressful, But I'm telling you right now, this is not the week to do anything but stay home and be safe. I wish you all very well. I know that this is very rough, and I'm not even going to edit it or redo it. I'm going to give it to you as it is because I've got too much work to do to stand and do this. But I honestly believe with all my heart and soul, forearmed is forewarned. Forewarned is forearmed. I don't want to be armed. No, I'm just all, it's got me upset. So I'll talk to you later. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Please be safe. Bye.